This is Appalachian Television Omni-Media, improving America. 3:03, Wasteland time. You're listening to Midnight in the Wasteland. This is Night Watch. This one came from a courier who runs the broken stretch where 63 used to make sense. He said there's a diner out there, half collapsed. Check tile floor missing more squares than it keeps. One long window, still holding glass, like a tired eyelid. The sign out front is split. Half the letters are gone. The ones that remain flicker at dusk. Even though the generator's been dead longer than memory, people say that it means it is haunted. I don't think that it is. I think it's tired electricity, doing what it remembers. Inside, there's a counter with 6 stools, 3 still spinning, if you ask them gentle. A chalkboard menu that hasn't changed its mind in a decade. Coffee, pie, eggs. The prices fell off, and nobody chased them. The courier said that the first time he saw the place, he just kept walking. Didn't need trouble, didn't need nostalgia. But on the second pass, a warm square of window pulled at the corner of his eye. Yellow, steady. Too soft to be a fire, too deliberate to be an accident. He stepped closer, saw a man behind the counter, older, apron wrapped twice, and nodded like a secret. Hands clean, hair trying its best. He had a lantern on the shelf, and a coil of wire running from a battery to a single bulb over the register. The bulb didn't shine much, just enough to make the chrome remember it used to be proud. The courier pushed the door. It gave a dinner bell sound, with no bell to make it. The man looked up, smiled like a regular had come back from a long trip, and said, "Sit where you like." There wasn't coffee. Not really. There was hot water colored by what used to be beans, and the man poured it anyway, set a cup in front of the courier, and folded a napkin under the handle, like ceremony could sweeten anything. They talked, not about the war, not about raiders, just the weather coming off the flats, and how the wind in that stretch learns new whistles every season. Every so often the man would turn the empty pan on the cold range, shake salt that wasn't there, flipped nothing with an old steel spatula, and nod to himself. Habit doing the heavy lifting. The courier asked how long he'd kept the place. The man said, 32 years before the bombs. All of them since. Said his name was Marlowe, though everyone used to call him Marl. Said his wife ran the register, and won every argument by counting the drawer. Said the morning crowd used to sit quiet until the second cup woke their voices. Said he could fry an egg without looking, and tell when it was ready by the smell of the oil, thinking about smoke. He didn't talk about the day he locked the door. I don't think he ever did. He just kept moving into space he knew, like a needle finding the same groove, because that's the song it belongs to. There are rituals there, small ones, to keep the air inside the walls. At dusk, he lights the lantern first, then taps the bulb above the register until it remembers its job. He wipes the counter towards the window, like he's moving crumbs into the light so they can go somewhere better. He sets out 2 cups, always 2. One for a stranger, one for his wife, in case timing is a door that opens the other way for once. The courier noticed the toolbox, neat as a prayer book. He asked if Marlowe was fixing the sign. Marlowe said no. It still thinks it's on. I let it. Travelers leave things. a spoon polished until it forgot every mouth it's met, a bundle of dried thyme wrapped in the thread that used to be red, a handful of screws sorted into an ashtray, each heading north, like that mattered. No tip jar, just a plate where a slice would have gone, a note under it that reads, "If you've got it." Raiders rolled up once, 3 bikes, 3 men who'd learned how to swagger before they learned how to walk. They saw the window, saw the bulb, saw Marlowe clean the counter, and his hands folded polite. The first one started to smile, the kind of smile you can't put back. Then he looked at the chalkboard, at coffee, pie, eggs, at the 2 cups waiting. He put his hand on the door, stood there with his throat working, and said, "Not this one." They left the way a bad idea leaves a room, when it realizes the room already has decided to be good. On a different night, a girl with a busted boot came hobbling in, wet to the knees, trying hard not to make a sound into a burden. Marlowe didn't ask where she'd been. He just pulled a towel from a stack that never shrinks, set it by the stove's quiet mouth, and handed her a needle, already threaded. She mended. He hummed a flat little tune diner fans used to hum. They said nothing important out loud. Sometimes, mercy is just not asking for the story. The courier went back twice more. Once he brought a real tea bag, the kind that still remembers being leaves. Marlowe opened a paper like a letter from the world, steeped it careful, poured half into the second cup, then took a clean rag, folded it small, and tucked it under the saucer so no one would burn their hand. He didn't drink from that one. He set it by the window and watched steam write nothing on the glass. The last time, the courier found the bulb cold, lantern dark. Then the sign cracked its old light once, just once, and went still. He walked in, stood at the counter, listened for a man moving plates that only he could see. What he heard was the long sound places make after they finished their sentence. The toolbox sat open, rags folded on top, 2 cups on the counter, one with a ring of tea, the color of old honey, one so clean it had a little moon inside of it. The courier waited until the light outside turned the color of tin. He set a handful of screws on the plate, faced all the heads north, wiped the counter towards the window, slow, the way he'd watched it done. Then he stepped back onto the road. He says the window still glows some nights. Not bright, just a square of warmer dark. Says it's probably the bulb remembering how to be a sun, or the sky being kind to whatever is left. He won't call it a haunting, neither will I. Some ghosts aren't made of people. They're made of habits that don't know that they've lost their reason. Marlowe cooked the life in that room. It's still warm there, if you stand close. She had a lamp. He had a bulb. Different rooms. Same hope. Some folks survive by moving, by fighting, by forgetting. Marlowe survived by repeating, by laying the same small kindness on the counter until the world remembers its manners. I don't know if he's still there, if anyone sits on those stools long enough to feel the room breathe again. But I know a square of light has a way of keeping a road honest. And I know that there's a diner on 63 that still tries to look open when the evening asks if it's worth the trouble. You've been listening to Midnight in the Wasteland. I'm Night Watch. Still here. Still listening. I'll be back tomorrow if the window stays warm and the quiet stays kind. Until then, leave a cup for somebody and turn the light towards the road.